Yo, what's up, everybody? I hope this mic is working. Just like the last video, whenever I do a video with a microphone now, I'm just kind of expecting that I might have to re-record it afterwards in case somehow or another it's not hooking with the computer. But I wanted to make a video taking you through some of the original art that I've accumulated over the last couple of months, probably since the last original art video that I made, which I think was a few months ago. I thought it would be a good time to do so because later this week, and maybe by the time this video gets posted, I'm doing a sale on eBay where I sell a bunch of my original art. I've been doing this for the last couple of years and it's been going well and it's been received well, so I'm going to keep doing it. In between each sale, I'm using it as an opportunity to obviously create more pieces, but also try and experiment with different approaches, different sizes, obviously different characters, different mediums. In the last video, I think I was showing you some of the gouache and ink combination pieces that I've been working on, and I'm trying to sort of fine-tune that process. I'm having a lot of fun with it. But in this batch that I'm going to show you, I even did some strictly gouache paintings as well, so no use of ink lines at all. That's kind of a big step for me as someone who's always been very black and white and a little bit nervous around using color in my work, at least in a traditional sense. But I've been having a lot of fun with these gouache paints and really trying to get the most out of them. And so each piece is really encouraging me to start another one and another one. So I have my portfolio here with all of my original art in it, and I thought I would just take you through some of the latest pieces. So let's just get into it. Most of these gouache illustrations are on Arches, I think it's Arches watercolor paper, good quality watercolor paper. The paper doesn't buckle at all. It's really great. I could use a lot of water on these. I usually work on Bristol board paper, which I love. But if I'm using this much like wet media, I feel like it's best just to use like a really good quality watercolor paper. It really, really makes a difference. So here's this piece. This is Commissioner Gordon and Alisa from the Gargoyles cartoon and the Batman, the animated series cartoon. Some of you who grew up in the 90s like myself might recognize both of these characters. And because they're both law enforcement and they're both from 90s animated shows, I thought it'd be cool to kind of pair them together. I had the idea and then I did a Google search, and as far as I could tell, I didn't see these two teamed up in any kind of illustration or comic or cartoon. So I thought, let me corner that market. I'm going to include in the sale the preliminary drawing. In the last couple sales that I've done, I've been including preliminary drawings as well. So before I start a piece, I'll work it out on a piece of typing paper or tracing paper and get everything fine-tuned and correct in terms of composition and proportions and all that. And then I'll lightbox it onto a fresh sheet of paper. So this is the preliminary piece. This was just on typing paper, and I worked it out with a lot of just sketchy pencil, and then I went in with, I think that's just marker, and sort of define the characters, the poses, the facial features, all that stuff. And then I lightboxed it onto this fresh sheet of watercolor paper. This next piece I'm really excited about. I just finished it yesterday, so you're always most excited about the last piece that you worked on. This is a combination of ink and gouache. It's Sue Storm, Mrs. Fantastic, the Invisible Woman. She has many aliases, but this is also the same size as that last one, which is 10 by 15. It's on watercolor paper. It's gouache. It's ink. And I was really trying to like evoke that Silver Age 1960s retro Fantastic Four vibe, very much in the vein of Jack Kirby and just that overall classic Marvel look. Jack Kirby, John Buscema, John Romita. I wanted to throw all those influences and inspirations into this piece, and like I said, I'm really happy with the way it came out. The machinery screams Kirby. that was very intentional on my behalf. Doing the transparent invisible effect was really fun, and I'm super happy with the way that part came out as well. Speaking of preliminaries, this is the preliminary for that particular piece. I just did this on typing paper with pencil, and then I went in with a rough marker and kind of just tried to get the pose right. You can see the machinery behind it is very different than how it turned out in the final version, but I was just sort of figuring things out, brainstorming, and then I leave enough of it rough so that I can work a lot of it out and keep that energy on the final page. Okay, what else we got here? Another odd pairing of characters that I feel might exist well in the same world, but come from two opposite universes. This is the Gray Ghost, again from Batman the Animated Series. You could tell it's one of my favorites for sure. And then that's the Spirit. Will Eisner's The Spirit. The Gray Ghost is supposed to be sort of like a retro 1940s superhero detective. Any of you who are familiar with his episode of Batman the Animated Series know all about that character, and I feel like he would pair really well with the Spirit, who is an actual 1940s superhero detective noir kind of character. But this one is done all with gouache paint as well, so there's no ink lines in here. So these two full-out gouache pieces that I have in here are, like I said, really big steps for me in terms of evolving as an artist and not feeling like I have to just do black and white, getting a much better handle on color and really having fun with it. I really enjoyed a lot of the effects I was getting, especially on the building and the gargoyles. That was probably the most fun working on this piece. This one is another 10 by 14 piece on really nice watercolor paper. And then, of course, here is the preliminary drawing. This is the rough. Typing paper, marker, keeping it pretty rough and loose, but all the information was there, and then I just lightboxed that onto the final artboard. Okay, so as much as I'm having fun doing the color gouache stuff, I still love just doing straight up black and white pieces. That's my first love, and I really enjoy just making ink drawing black and white pieces. So here's one I did a few months ago of Peter Parker and Mary Jane. This is 9 by 12, I'm pretty sure. Like a lot of my stuff, very retro inspired, both the Peter Parker and the Mary Jane designs. But I had a lot of fun with this one. I like the concept behind it. I like the way it came out compositionally. And like all the rest of them, here is the preliminary. This is done on typing paper as well, with, again, just some pencil and some marker, just figuring it out. You could see how the Mary Jane character really evolved from this early stage to the way she came out in the final piece. So again, a lot of this was really just kind of like figured out and worked on the final board. Okay, as I go through these, I want to say each one of these is my favorite. This is Gambit and Rogue. This is done with ink and gouache on watercolor paper. This is also very 90s inspired, somewhat inspired by the X-Men 97 cartoon, which I've yet to actually watch. But I grew up watching the original X-Men cartoon, so I have years of inspiration from that show. So I put a lot of that into this piece. And there's a lot of things that I really like about how this piece came together, but the background was really fun. I was watching a video with Brian Stelfreeze, who was on one of David Finch's live streams, and he was showing his painting techniques, and it was really helpful, and I tried to utilize some of what he was doing in that live with that background, creating like a really interesting wash that kind of bleeds colors together. And then the highlight of this piece for me really is like that sort of energy static effect that's coming out of Gambit's card. I really like that. That was just with white gouache, really. And for that Rogue and Gambit piece, the preliminary art on that one was quite extensive. A lot of them often are. I just throw away a bunch of the different iterations, but in this case, I actually kept them around. So I'll show you kind of all the different versions of my sketches. These are really, really rough, but I was just working different ideas out for that particular pose, drawing them individually on different sheets of paper and then trying to piece them together. In fact, there's one version here where I actually tape them together, kind of like paper dolls. I've done this with different pieces in the past that I've shared before, but you could see I literally just tape them together and kind of move them around to get them positioned in a way that I thought worked visually. Like I said, I went through many iterations with this particular one until I could get the characters feeling like they were interacting in a way that was natural and kind of made sense and looked good. And then this was the final iteration for the sketch, for the preliminary. And from there, I just lightboxed it onto the final art board, and voila. So that's pretty much all the stuff I'm going to share in this video regarding these newest originals. Like I said, there's going to be a sale later this week. Perhaps by the time this video gets posted, it will be up. It's most likely going to be an eBay auction. So if you're watching this right after it posts, there's probably going to be like 5 days of the sale in terms of how long it'll be up for. But there's going to be a bunch more pieces in the sale. I think there's going to be like 20-something pieces altogether, including finals and preliminaries. I have some older stuff that I'm going to include into the sale that I haven't posted for sale before. So I'm excited about it. A lot of different sizes, a lot of different price points. So hopefully there's a little something for everybody, a bunch of different characters. So it should be fun. It should be cool. And then the most exciting part is that after all this stuff is gone and sold, then I got to start and make my next batch. And that's where I really get to continue to go down these different paths with color and just evolving as an artist, playing around with different ideas, different characters, different concepts. It's fun. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little look at some of my most recent original art. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I love to hear from you and sort of interact in the comments section. If you're interested in purchasing any of these, I'll have information in the description as well for the info regarding the sale. And then as of this video, my commission list is still currently open. So if you have any ideas of things that you would like me to draw for you that you haven't seen me do here, feel free to reach out to me via email and I'll send you all that commission info. So cool. Thanks for watching and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.